Hello, I'm Sally. Well, it's nearly the end of the summer holidays and nearly the end of a very long break from school for most of you. You'll be going back to school fairly soon, won't you? And over the last few weeks in Young Church, we've been talking about our vision for a better world. I wonder if you can remember what we've been doing. We had a greener world, a kinder world, a more sustainable world, a slower world, a more thoughtful world. And last week, Marilyn talked about living in the present rather than worrying about what happened in the past or what might happen in the future, living in the now. And today, we're going to talk about harmony. So that's 7 things. Remember, 7 things. I'm going to come back to those 7 things a bit later on. What do you think about when you think about harmony? I think about music. I think about orchestras and bands and choirs, different instruments in orchestras and bands, and different voices in choirs. In choirs, you get bass and tenor and alto and soprano, and sometimes a few others. And in orchestras, lots of different instruments and different melodies. And all those melodies, those sounds, those instruments, and those voices, they come together and create a harmony that's very pleasing to listen to. More than just one melody or one line or one instrument, but lots of different sounds coming together in harmony. So that's what harmony sounds like. What does it feel like? Have you ever heard the expression, it struck a chord with me? If you think about different notes all being played together and sounding just right, and people say, well, what that person said really struck a chord with me, it just felt right. What does harmony look like, I wonder? Well, we thought it would be useful to think about rainbows when it comes to thinking about what harmony looks like. So do you remember I said remember 7, those 7 things? There are 7 colours in a rainbow. We have red, orange, yellow, green, blue, purple and pink. And together, they're all different colours, but together, when they all come together and form a beautiful bow, they look so lovely, so harmonious together. But you know, the only way you get a rainbow is after rain, when the sun comes out and the light shines through the droplets of water and makes those colours. I don't really know how it works. I think you'd have to really understand how the weather works and how those kinds of things work to understand why we get those colours. And I just want to remind us all that just as the sun shines through droplets of water to give us beautiful rainbows, Jesus, who is the light of the world, when his life shines in ours, we can be beautiful as well. Now, today, Marilyn's activity is going to be using the colours of the rainbow to show you how to make a keepsake to remember those things that we wanted to talk about with our vision for a better world. Let's remember them again. So we had a greener world, a kinder world, a more sustainable world, a slower world, a more thoughtful world, and a world where we live in the present and don't worry so much about what happened in the past or what might happen in the future. And today, harmony. Before we go over to Marilyn, we've got a song for you. Some of my family have been visiting this week. Excuse me, sorry. And there are 3 very little people, 2 middle-sized people, and me. I'm the oldest. I'm the granny. So my daughter Bethany and her husband are in their 30s, and then their 3 children. Pippa is just 6, she's just had her birthday, and Eli is very nearly 4, and Lara is 2. And we're going to sing the Rainbow Song for you. So that's 6 very different people who do different things, but we're all family. We're coming together to sing you the rainbow song to help you to remember those 7 visions for the future. And then after that, we'll go to Marilyn and have our activity. So I hope you enjoy it. And why don't you sing along with us? No, just before we start, when we recorded this, for some reason which we can't work out, and we tried it twice, just near the beginning, you don't hear any sound. But just bear with it for a few seconds and then you can join in with the rest of the song. So I hope you'll enjoy that and enjoy the activity with Marilyn as well. Bye bye for now.
Red and yellow and pink and green, purple and orange and blue. I can sing a rainbow, sing a rainbow, sing a rainbow too. Listen with your eyes, listen with your ears, and sing everything you see. You can sing a rainbow, sing a rainbow, sing along with me. Red and yellow and pink and green, purple and orange and blue. I can sing a rainbow, sing a rainbow, sing a rainbow too. Listen with your eyes, listen with your ears, and sing everything you see. You can sing a rainbow, sing a rainbow, sing along with me. Red and yellow and pink and green, purple and orange and blue. I can sing a rainbow, sing a rainbow, sing a rainbow too. I can sing a rainbow, sing a rainbow, sing a rainbow too.
Hello, thank you Sally and family for that very harmonious singing. Our activity is all about drawing threads together to make a friendship bracelet, which will also remind you of all the themes that we've been looking at for a different future during the summer months. Now the first job to do is to make the loom. Now I've got here a circle of cardboard. It's card that we had through the post in a package, and it has to be quite thick. And across the cardboard circle I have drawn 4 lines to make an 8-spoked wheel. In the centre I've used quite a sharp bradawl to poke a hole, and please ask for some help in doing that. Then using your scissors around the wheel, just cut small cuts down on each spoke. Like that. So your loom is now completed. So now we've got to select our threads. Now I am using wool for my threads, but there are alternatives like these embroidery cottons. Now I've chosen, you need 7 different coloured threads. So I have chosen the 7 colours of the rainbow. So we've got red. Now I know this looks like a mixture, but there are orange pieces in it. Yellow, green, blue, indigo and violet. Now you need about 40 centimetre lengths of each thread. That's to fit my wrist. If you've got a smaller wrist, you won't need so long a thread. So I've laid them all out. So we've got the red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo and violet. So you bring them together, and at one end we're going to tie a slip knot. And pull it tight. That's it, nice and tight. And then a little, about 2 centimeters down the threads, you make another knot. And that may be a bit more difficult, but through they come. There we are. Now, using the knots, we now put these threads into the loom, and you push them from the top to the bottom. And again, this can be quite tricky to get those knots through, but once they start moving, you can. Right. So they're now on the loom, and you now spread the threads out. So I'm going to go in the order of the rainbow. So red through that little notch, orange is the next one, yellow, green, blue, indigo and violet. And you notice that there is one spoke, one notch, which hasn't got a thread, and that is purposeful. So to start weaving, you bring that empty notch towards you and hold it there, and then you look to your right and you count 1, 2 threads, and you take the third thread, which is the blue one, and bring it down to the bottom and poke it through. Turn it round so that the empty notch is towards you, and you count 1, 2, 3, and you take the orangey coloured one down. Turn it round again. You've got the empty one at the bottom. Count 1, 2, 3, and bring it down. And this is how you do your weaving. Now, you'll find that after a while you don't really have to think about what you're doing, and that is when you could start thinking about the colours that you are using. Now, over the summer weeks, we have been looking at different themes of how we'd like the world to be, and I think these colours could represent those themes. So green is easy. That was our theme of having a greener world. But what about the other colours? They're not so easy to assign, but perhaps you'll have ideas. I think red could be the environmental one, or this violet one could be being thoughtful. Let's do it that way. That one's thoughtful. There's your green, a greener world. There's the environmental one. We're making the world too hot. Indigo, what could that be? That could be harmony, living in harmony that we're looking at today. Yellow, I think that's living for the moment, being cheerful and appreciating what we've got around us. The blue could be being kinder. It's a beautifully soft colour. And then we're back to the orange one again, and that could be a slower world. If you think that when we get to traffic lights, the amber or orange light tells us to slow down. And there we are at the violet, and that's being thoughtful. And we're back to green. You may have other ideas about what these colours represent, but to me that seems what I'm going to be thinking about. And as you do it, you keep pulling at the knots underneath, and gradually you will find that you are beginning to weave your bracelet. Now, I have got one already started where I've actually almost finished the weaving. You could do these, make these bracelets out of any colours, but I just think that using 7 different colours like this shows the beauty of your weaving. Whereas if you use one colour, it would be very nice, but you wouldn't see the depth. So there's a harmony in this as well. So I think that is long enough. So I'm now going to unthread the loom. So I take all the threads off it, and you can see that of my 40 centimetres, I've only got about 10 centimetres left at the top here. And pull it out, and it won't undo. So, like at the bottom, we're now going to tie a knot at the top. And because these are quite long, we're going to cut all but one of these threads off, and I think I'm going to save the blue one. So just save about 2 centimetres at the top, and the blue one is still as long, and I'm going to thread a needle and pull that through, and I have got a bead here which I'm going to sew to the top of my bracelet. Now you could use a button if you haven't got any beads around. That's it. And then I can put it on. I think I'll try the other wrist. It's quite difficult putting that on one-handed. Perhaps again you'll need some help doing that, but there we go. There's my friendship bracelet, which is going to remind me about how we all want to live in a better and alternative world in the future after COVID. Thank you for watching all our series, and we'll be coming back to you next Sunday with a new series of Young Church sessions. Bye bye.